right, y'all, we out here again, 7900 block of Belford, right here in the Sunnyside community. And I got a special guest, my boy Xzavion, so I want to have him introduce himself and tell y'all a little bit about him.
What's up? My name is Xzavion. I graduated from Yates High School, right here from South Park, MLK. Came down here to talk to my man Sarge about the issues that we got going on right here in our country, and see if we can make a change.
Alright, Xzavion, so I know that we're here, because we're really trying to come up with, ways that we can fix some of the social issues that we're seeing right now. But I know you got some questions and some concerns in regards to policing and, what's being done in the community. So I want to hear those questions and see if I can provide you some insight.
My first question is, how do you feel we look at police today and why?
From a youth standpoint, I think that you don't really look at us with a lot of trust as a whole, especially the minority. I think that you all feel that we don't care enough and that there's dangerous tactics that we're using to kind of police you. So I think that that's sort of how you look at us, but I don't think that the way you look at us is totally true in a sense, as far as that's just all that we do is provide bad policing. Like, I think some of it is like the wrong way to look at it, despite like what you may see on the news or the media, or through rap lyrics, so I think that some of it has some valid points, but I don't think that all of it is necessarily about, bad policing in a sense.
My next question is, why do they, police, look at us as criminals and treat people in the black community a certain way?
Right, and that's a really, really good question. We don't want our communities being policed, hard, rough, as far as not showing love and compassion to the community. And I think that part of the reason why some of that appears to look like we don't care is because there's a lack of communication between the police and our youth. Young men like yourself and other people as well. Sometimes an officer can walk up and there's already a preconceived stereotype about what they think may happen. And a lot of the times, the officer is just trying to do his job, his or her job for that matter. And I also think that when you put new officers in a community that is high in crime and they don't understand the culture, they can probably police in a very black and white manner. And what I mean by black and white is not race, but there's no color in the personality. You know what I'm saying? So not so much a race thing, but it's just the personality is dry and the officer is just trying to do his job or do her job, get in, get out, to go to the next call. So I think that some of that is just getting to know the subculture of the communities that we in. I think that as a country we have a culture, right? Like the American culture, but this neighborhood right here has its own subculture, right? So it's important for officers to understand the subculture that exists in our neighborhood, because when we do that, we're gonna better police it. There's things that we're gonna understand that'll knock out those stereotypes, that'll knock out those fears between officers and between, youth as well.
How do you think the issues can be fixed?
So there's a couple ways. I think first and foremost, let's say an officer's on the scene, right? And I get your information, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm trying to get to the next call, because the officer does have a strong passion to service the community. Otherwise, we wouldn't do the job, okay? But I think that we have to spend a little bit more time, when we can, getting to know the people that we're policing. So for example, let's say I saw you on a car accident, right? I got your information, everything's cool. But maybe I could just take, 3 to 5 minutes and just have a little conversation with you, right? just in general, whether it's about the game or Le'Veon Bell going to the Kansas City Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? You know, and just have a conversation with you, because that 3 to 5 minutes can make a well of a difference in terms of, you know, having a relationship with somebody. So I think that we got to start there. And then I think secondly, we have to take ownership as far as what's going on nationally. It may not be HPD doing everything, but we're all brothers and sisters in blue, and what somebody does in another state can still affect how we police as well, right? So we want to make sure that we're setting the right examples nationally. And I think one way to fix that is making sure that we're beefing up on our training. And like I was saying earlier about the subculture, here's a really good example. So I've never policed on the west side or the Midwest. Now I know that there's a pocket of Asian communities in those areas, right? So would you feel that it'd be important if I had an understanding about the subculture of Asians or Pacific Islanders, right? Because if I don't, then how would I really understand what their morals stand for, right? Because you have law, but then you also have neighborhood morals. You know, so if I don't understand those morals and their subcultures and their beliefs and their systems, right, then I could police them in the wrong way that they perceive is unethical. Even though I may not be being unethical, they could take it like that if I don't have an understanding, right? So it's very, very important to make sure that we have that cross-cultural training so that no matter what the race is, we understand how to police whatever community that we in, man. It's so important. That's gonna lower like shootings, excessive force, response to resistance that was once better known as use of force. It's gonna help build relationships better, and it'll help foster that understanding, man. So that's what I really think. I certainly appreciate those questions that you asked me. Very insightful questions, really, really good questions. And I think that it's questions that millions of people actually have that are around the same age as you, and, you know, maybe even older. But I want to ask you some questions as well. It is so cold out here, man. I'm like shivering, I can barely talk. But I want to ask you some questions as well as it relates to policing. And, you know, what you feel that maybe we could do better. So, what do you think when you're first approached by a cop or you pulled over in a neighborhood? Like, what goes in your head? What goes on?
I'm pulled over.
Yeah.
First thing I'm thinking is the police, black and white. Because, like, me, like, I see a lot of, you know, white people, like, they quick to look at us as, like we're criminals.
Right.
So, like, my mama, she work in the community, so we work in the community too. We know a lot of, you know, black police officers, so we want to think is this the police officer we know, so we can, you know, have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? But that's the first thing I'm thinking, if it's black and white. And like, when I get approached, like, it's a certain way that I want to be approached by a police officer, because, like, I want to be, you know, I want to feel like I'm being protected. You know what I'm saying? Or see if I'm doing something wrong, I want to see what's going on. But they feel like, you know, we're the criminals. We doing something wrong every time, but, you know, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Okay. My next question is, do you think that fear or a lack of relationship is why some people don't comply with the police? So do you think it's like a fear thing, or do you think it's a lack of relationship thing, or do you think that it's both?
I feel like it's both. I think it's both because I feel like a lot of people my age ain't got the opportunity that I have to have a conversation with you. I have a conversation with other people like Sergeant Scott that works right here in Sunnyside that I know. Sergeant Cloud, Sergeant Will, everybody that I know. Like, I know all these officers, but a lot of people don't have the opportunity that I have. But I mean, it's fear too, because people get scared. Just like I said, like when I get approached by a white officer, any officer really, I get scared because I want to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I get afraid, and I'm pretty sure everybody else get afraid too, because they see the stuff on Instagram, on the news, Twitter, everything that's on social media. You know what I'm saying? They seeing all that stuff. They don't want that stuff to happen to them. So that's the first thing they're thinking. So I think it's fear and it's, you know, the lack of, you know, the relationship between the two people and the police.
Gotcha. So I got one last question. Well, actually two more. In regards to race relations, that's a hot topic, right? Now, we know what we see on like Instagram, social media, the news, right? And a lot of the times we're seeing the way white officers are treating African Americans, right? However, do you think that that only paints a very small picture? Would you say that the majority of the officers are really good? And what I mean by that is the news, the media, rap lyrics, although some of it's true, it's a very, very small portion. So what is your take on the majority of our white officers being really, really good officers? Because personally, I feel like they are, but I want to hear what you think.
I'm not saying like white, like all white officers, you know what I'm saying, make it feel like we're criminals, because I don't know personally, but I've seen some, I've been in, you know, interaction with white officers, and I had that conversation with officers right in Brenham. You know, I had a conversation with the lady. She was asking us, you know, how we doing in class and stuff like that. Because we didn't have anything going on. They just wanted to check and see if we was, you know, if we were doing something wrong. So, you know, I had that conversation with them, but, you know, it's not all of them. It's, you know, it's that, I'm just talking about the ones that we see on social media, the ones that we see. So it make us think about the ones that we see. It make us think about the people that we seen. So if we see the white officer, we don't want them to be the same officer that we seen on social media.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. Definitely. So I got one last question, man, before we wrap this thing up. What do you want to see done better with police? Like, what changes do you want to see from us?
I feel like, you know, like you said, that y'all do your job. It's a job thing.
Right.
But I feel like it's the way you approach it, the way you approach. Like, in my, I got a scenario. You know, my brother's birthday was September 10th. You know, we had a little party or whatever. Okay. And we ain't had no ice cream. Right down the store from me. We right around the corner from the store. Right. My friends, my brother's friends, you know what I'm saying, everybody, we all walked to the store. We want to get some ice cream. We going to get some ice cream. The store man let us in. There's about 10 of us, 10 almost 15. We want to let all of us in. So we understand. So we go to the store next door because we know the man in the store belongs to the little. So we go in the store, get our ice cream on, then we walking back. Hear the sirens, you know what I'm saying, they come down. And like we walking down my street almost to my house. And I guess he got out, you know what I'm saying, he like, you know, get on the ground, you know what I'm saying, get on the ground, you know what I'm saying, with his hand on it. So we teenagers. Well, I'm grown, my big brothers, you know, my friends, they grown, but my little brother, they 11th grade, 10th grade, you know what I'm saying, they young teenagers. And he, you know, y'all get on the ground, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying, cursing us out and stuff like that. We like, what's going on? So we all get on the ground. My pops, he come walk down, and that's when they change, you know what I'm saying. He see that we just, you know what I'm saying, it's a party going on. Everybody, we coming for a party. So he see that, and like he changes the way he talking to, like, sir, it's all right, sir, blah, blah, but you just talk to us, you know what I'm saying, a certain way before he walked up. And that's how I feel, and I'm like, why you change the way you're talking? You know what I'm saying? And when he walk up, and my mama didn't walk up, when he see, you know, my mama, she knew like 2 or 3 officers because she worked in the community. Right. And it's like, it changed when they seen her. But like, why wasn't it that when, you know what I'm saying, before they walked over? What if that wasn't my mama? What if that wasn't them? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's really just the approach. Like it ain't really nothing wrong. It's just like the approach make people like anger, make them aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Make them do a certain thing to make, you know, the police react or whatever.
I totally agree, and I got this saying that I try to live by. It's your attitude that keeps people in the mood, and that goes for officers. You know, like the way we walk up to a citizen can really determine how a whole scene can play out just by the right body language. You know, the right spirit, the right vibe can really make a scene go really, really smooth, and it can really change the dynamics of a police and citizen relationship for the better. Man, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time, bro. I want to tell you, man, thank you for coming out. We need to do more of these. Yates Alumni right here, ladies and gentlemen, right on the south side of town. Again, this is Tap's channel, Large and Charge with Sarge. We need more conversations like this, more real conversations, nothing fake, nothing scripted, just, you know, speaking straight from the heart. Again, this weather was rainy and cold, so we was kind of shivering while we was talking, but we got through everything, y'all. We all got to do better, but it starts with law enforcement first, because we have the ability to take away somebody's privileges. you know, on a day-to-day basis. You know, we enforce constitutional laws, right? So it definitely starts with us, but I want to tell you, man, thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you, man, and we look forward to having more people out on the channel.